everybody. What'd you think of the movie?
All right. Let's bring down. Let's give a big round of applause to Benni Diez. And I understand there's a couple other people. Yeah, we got some mics.
Yeah.
There's a
Now I
couple
can
other
see
people
them.
there.
Okay, let's get at first our talent on the stage. Jessica Cook and Matt O Leary. And also Daniele Rizzo, aka Larry the Entertainer.
She like Greg!
You like Greg? You like Greg? Please give a warm applause for Adam Aresti, the screenwriter of this. And did you hear the score?
Yes.
I liked it. Did you?
Yeah.
Our two composers. And my buddy Ben Munz, without whom I couldn't have done this. Okay.
An applause for the video blog!
And also applause for our producers from XYZ Films who are sitting there and are too ashamed to come down. This movie is too small for them. I guess if you got questions for any one of us, that would be the time now.
I'll take the first one. How did you come up with this idea? And is some part of it based in reality? Do these kind of
Germany, it
looks
looks
It's on.
I think so.
It's on.
Really
Yeah.
loud. It's on.
It's actually based on a true story, yes.
Okay.
No, I was working one summer as a caterer. I have a terrible girly hand fear of wasps, and we ended up working at a very remote farm in rural New Jersey, not too far from here. New Jersey! The bar was positioned right by a really nasty nest of wasps, and I could not move for the entire evening. And so my imagination started running wild, and yeah, we're here tonight. So.
Let's open up to the questions from the audience. Anyone out there?
Don't be shy now.
I'm sure you guys have some. Yeah, right here.
Was the whole wasp thing, was that like a scheme by the host and hostess, or was that like I don't know. I was a little confused.
Well, we might learn more about that in potential sequels, maybe.
More to come.
We were actually thinking about this. Is there more behind it? And there may be. We didn't want to go too much into it in this movie because we thought, you go into this movie like, okay, audience, see, it's gonna be about 6-foot wasps, but bear with us. And you don't want to, bother them with a lot of that. This scientific backstory, and he's responsible. It was more about how that kind of situation affects pretty down-to-earth people, like those two caterers, and that's what we wanted to focus on. So there were discussions about, is there more behind the whole mythology of the wasps, and is there a conspiracy maybe? There might be, but not right now. I hope that answers the question.
There's a question way up there in the back.
I'd like to know a little bit more about how you decided what the wasps would look like, how they would act, and then tell me a little bit more about the one on the shoulder that didn't fully come into itself, and then it was cool to see it
Yeah, first the actual wasps are based on one of the species of like those parasitic wasps called the tarantula killer wasp, and we based the designs on those and then expanded on that. They actually lay eggs in other insects, or in that case tarantulas, and in other cases cicadas and other animals, and they hatch and use the body of the other animal as a kind of a host and for feeding the little child. And then by mutating them, by the very simple idea of fertilizer,
And human growth.
man size, and you saw what happened. The thing with the shoulder wasp was an idea that came to be during the process of working on the script, because we wanted to do a little more than just, okay, we have now those wasps, do we want to spend another hour just killing off people and fighting big wasps? So we thought we have to up the ante, not in terms of size, but in terms of, you know, fucked upness. So, and it was a really cool idea to have, because Sydney was always having this weird physicality, and he was a weird guy, and we thought, why not have him have some kind of tumor, some weird tissue on his shoulder, and when he gets stung in there, that wasp's not gonna grow properly, because like the feeding ground is not. It's not good. So, yeah, it's kind of a little retard wasp.
All right, our next question right down here in front.
This is kind of a geeky question. Are you a fan of Jaws? The
Very
movie?
much so.
Okay, because there was the scene where Lance Henriksen's character gets sucked under the door, and it kind of reminded me of Captain Quint being sucked in the. And then even when he blows up, did you do that on purpose, or was that just me overthinking this?
No, you're not overthinking it.
Did you really?
I mean, it was not really consciously like, oh, we have to cite Jaws on this, but Jaws and Aliens and all those films, those classics are always on our minds, and they were on our minds. They were on Adam's mind when he wrote the script. In every design stage, you can't help but think about those things, and you try to put them into the movie without being just copying it.
Well, it just reminded me of that scene a little bit, so I
Yeah.
just was wondering if that was in the back.
Did anyone recognize Lance's line before he gets sucked into the hole?
Yeah.
Very good. He gave us that actually on purpose. It wasn't in the script. He just said it on the spot. Very good. I'm gonna give you a line from. When I'm climbing into the pipe. We thought, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
But who figured that out? Me. Who? The guy who's screaming? Yes. And you're getting one of the pins.
But then
Of
what
course.
happened to here?
We got more pins.
Oh, yeah. All right, what's your question as well?
To the writer, was it intentional that wasps, as in white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, were being killed wasps?
Yes.
Very sharp crowd. Any other questions out there? Yeah. Oh, come on.
It's been redacted.
Sorry, she doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to see it.
I got 2 more pins.
What was Sydney trying to make Paul do with the like baby?
The larva?
Yeah, the larva thing.
Paul should answer
Oh yeah, please.
You want me to take this one? Yeah, take it. Well, he was trying to turn me into the king wasp. And what that would do is, well, actually, that's the answer. He was trying to turn me into the king wasp. And Julia didn't let him, as you guys know.
I mean, I can elaborate on that if you really have the time. Julia hacks off the ass end of the queen wasp, and then she's not able to give birth normally anymore, so she has to kind of put her open butthole into this pile of human flesh and kind of wiggle around so that larva can grow in this pile of flesh. Did you recognize that hand? Well, probably too dark. And so, yeah, and this larva grows inside that, and the next step would be, logically, to insert it in someone's mouth, Paul, so that the larva in his body then can grow and become the next stage of evolution, which we didn't have money for. So.
All right, I think we have time for just one or two more questions, and we'll go right here.
For the stars, I mean, obviously this was a very physical shoot, and it was a very messy shoot. I'm wondering what you guys found most challenging, like in all of the muck and the climbing around.
The climate. We were wet and it was cold.
Freezing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably the toughest part. I mean, outside of it, you know, it was a big family.
Yeah.
It really was. Everyone was trying to keep us warm in like ridiculous ways, and you know, it was awesome. You know, we really wanted to make this film, and I mean, it was just playing. You know, we were just playing, and Benni was really great at creating this kind of. You know, you all played house when you were kids, right? I mean, he created this environment where it was house with a bunch of flying wasps around. He's like, oh, and then it's gonna be flying by your head, and then you're gonna dive down. And I'm watching him do this. I'm like, yeah, let's go, call action. So I mean, the physicality was awesome, you know.
It must
And to
have
work
been
with
tough for
Lance.
two Californians, but in freezing temperatures, being covered in several gallons of Asian sex slime.
It was like for kids.
Yeah, it was winter, and they're like, we're shooting summer. Enjoy. And we did.
The screaming was hard, and actually to pretend to play piano.
Great job.
It was good.
G like great. I don't know what I'm doing.
It was totally him
They
playing
will
it.
fix it in the post. So, it was hard.
All right, one
Who wants
more
pins?
question.
Wait, so pronounce that properly.
Yeah,
I mean,
who
Jesus.
Pins.
We're going right here.
For the writer, are there any B horror movies that encouraged you to make the movie?
Be like starring bees or be like. I get that confused a lot.
Cult movies?
Absolutely. You know, the classics from the 50s, them, anything that Benni mentioned, Jaws is, you know, top of the top, Aliens for sure. It was a blessing to get Lance Henriksen and just talk to him, and all he wants to do is talk about aliens, so that was amazing. Reanimator, I mean, any of those kind of, Cronenberg's The Fly, I mean, certainly any of the body horror stuff, but also the comedy stuff, you know, so.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, guys.